SMX medical update. We bring in the good Dr. Joe McGinley here. So really rough start to the season. My gosh, the Liqui Beta team. So Benny Bloss on the first fast lap of the year in press day breaks his wrist at Anaheim. And then his teammate Mitchell Oldenburg goes down in qualifying at San Diego. Had to get surgery for a broken arm. Has a concussion as well. What's the prognosis when you hear a broken arm like that, Dr. Joe?
Yeah, the reports we have, it's a broken radius and ulna. That's a little bit different than if you're talking about an elbow or wrist joint. When you have joints involved, they take a little bit longer to heal. So good news as far as what can be good news in this situation. Think of this similar to like a clavicle fracture. It's a straight, long bone. He had surgery, got plates and screws put in to help stabilize that fracture. So healing should go really well. I would expect him back this season to be riding. How quickly that heals, that's going to just depend on how soon those bones heal up. I'm sure he's already going to be working with anti-inflammatory methods to try to expedite that healing. But I would expect him back this season for sure, similar to the lines of a clavicle fracture.
I was thinking about Malcolm Stewart, who miraculously was able to get back onto the racetrack, put in a fairly decent result. And during the day, he did an interview with the Race Day Live crew and kind of mentioned like he was starting to feel it. You know, he's feeling the fatigue and the wear and tear put on it throughout the day. When you hear something like that and you push it forward into Anaheim too, how quickly do you think he can start to feel like normal? Like when is that fatigue and the injury part going to become less of a concern where he can ride like the Malcolm Stewart that we're used to?
A great question, JT. So first, the big news is there was no issues with the shoulder, right? There were no popping out. There were no dislocations that we know of. So the shoulder was stable the whole day. Ended up, right around the top 10th place in the races this weekend. There was a couple other injuries that were revealed. The scapula, there were a few fractures of the scapula. That's not going to be pleasant. That's not going to feel good. They commented on that that's going to hurt throughout the day. We talked about it last week with Justin Barsha. Anytime you have an injury, the muscles around that area are going to spasm up and try to protect those areas. That's not pleasant. If you ever had a back spasm, it can last for days and you really don't want to move. So if you have a fracture, those muscles are doing the same thing around that scapula, which is going to be something he's going to be dealing with it. He obviously went out there and raced. I'd expect him out there this weekend. But it's going to be a slow improvement on the healing as far as the pain. The injuries themselves look stable at this point, but pain and suffering is something that you can't measure and is different for everyone that's out there riding.
All right. Well, we wish the best for Freckle, Mitch Oldenburg, and Malcolm Stewart this weekend for Malcolm. And hopefully Beta gets a bike on track to some degree because both of their riders are out. And as always, thanks for the time, Doc McGinley.
Thank you, guys.